In my last blog, I was mentioning how I was going to heat the hot water for Barney. And the problem is that if you buy a diesel or a gas water heater these days, they are incredibly expensive. The cheap ones like the old Paloma water heaters or the medium price ones like the Carver water heaters are not made anymore. They're obviously deemed not safe. So you either have to spend many hundreds of pounds on a posh one, or you spend a little bit on one of these portable showers, which you can only use outside, because if you use them inside you die of carbon monoxide poisoning. So I'm thinking of putting a cheap Chinese diesel heater underneath the sofa that's going to go here that pulls out into a bed, and I was thinking that I could maybe utilise the hot air coming out of one of those diesel heaters to heat up the water. So I've been working on a prototype, so let's go and have a look at it. Welcome to Tommy. This is a Volkswagen Transporter that we hire out through quirkycampers.co.uk, but this happens to have a Jeep Chinese air heater underneath the driver's seat, so that was an ideal thing to carry out my experiments. So basically what we've got is a copper coil of 10mm copper pipe in there, just a hand bent into a spiral, and attached to it is two bits of plastic pipe that I happen to have, which is just the right diameter. Now obviously when I make a final version, this will have to be silicone piping so that it can take the heat, but for an experiment this works really well. So basically water is going to come in one end, goes through in front of the heater, gets hot, and the water comes out the other side. It's going to circulate through into, this is just a bucket of 5 litre water, and it's going to be circulated by this 240 volt pump, but eventually obviously that will be a 12 volt pump. Doesn't have to push the water through very much at all. So let's assemble it and see how it goes. The coil is now inside a bit of drain pipe, and then it's attached by a bit of ducting to the output of the heater. So water is being pumped up through the pond pump, goes in at one end and comes out the other end, and there it is coming out and going into the bucket. So let's turn on the heater and see how we get on. The heater is now just on its startup cycle, and the water, I've got a probe in there, temperature probe. As you can see, the water is starting at 13 degrees centigrade. So let's see how long it takes to warm up the water. The heater's now been on for a couple of minutes, and it's just coming up to speed now, and so you can actually start to feel warm air coming out of the ends there. But already the temperature has gone up to 16 degrees. So it's amazing how quickly this water is heating up. The heater's been on now for 5 minutes. And it's already raised the temperature 10 degrees, and you can start to feel that it's tepid now. You know, it's not cold water, it's getting warmer. So I'm just blown away as to how quickly this heats up and how fast it's working. So obviously what you're going to do in the summertime, well, at the moment we've got hot air and water heating happening at the same time. If I put a valve before the coil to divert the air, then I can just dump it outside in the summertime, or then I'll have a second valve so that you can, in the wintertime, you can just have hot air without the hot water. So you've got all three choices, and then, as I say, the silicone pipes will then come to some sort of open container, maybe a 5-7 litre tank like you use for these water heaters, and it will just circulate through in there with a tap in and a tap out to fill it and drain it. And there we are, look, just in the time we've been talking, it's gone up to 25. So it's working really well. I just can't believe how efficient this is for, well, it's cost me nothing because these are all bits that I had, but it's amazing. Heater has been on now for a quarter of an hour, and there we are, 34 degrees centigrade. You can actually feel the warmth now of the water coming out. I mean, that would be plenty warm enough for having a wash, and it's not going to take long before that is warm enough for doing your washing up. It's, in actual fact, it's heating up as fast as one of those 240 volt 300 watt Truma heaters that you can get. So I'm just blown away how well this is working. It's been on for about 22 minutes now, and there we are, 40 degrees centigrade. You can definitely feel that that's hot water now. You'd be able to do your washing up in that. So that pump I would replace with a 12 volt solar water heater pump, which cost about £12 on eBay, and that would be rated up to 100 degrees C. I'd need to get some silicone pipe in. I think the ducting will be fine as it is. So I think that if you were buying all the equipment from fresh, you could do it for under £75, which I think is a brilliant way of getting your water heated up.